So tell everyone you know. We wear our hearts on the stage because it's all we know. We had to break out the cage where we were forced to grow. We said goodbye to low wage about 2 years ago.
You are tuned in to the Wendy Love Ed Show with Topher Kogen, where health, plant medicine, and music meet. In this episode, our guests are Robert Taylor, Skip Eckarts, and William Pierce. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the multi-talented Topher Kogen.
Hey, Wendy.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm okay.
I love your hair. That's
Thank
very
you.
different than...
Yeah, because I feel like I got so jealous of your short hair. I was like, I really want short hair right now.
Uh-huh.
So
But you still have all those long locks.
Yeah.
That must have taken a long time to grow.
It did.
Yeah.
I've had locks since 10th grade,
Oh, wow.
I think.
Yeah.
Which
And
I don't know.
Since
I
you're
guess that's-
57, that's a long time.
It is. You know, look up for 57.
But this is adorable. It's like little curly. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's very hot today in Arkansas.
It is.
I feel like, you know, and my background is Jewish culture, so I say I'm schwitzing.
Mhm.
I feel like everywhere I went today, I was
Just
schwitzing.
fixing all over the place.
Yes, I know. Even like you're in the air conditioning and it feels really cool, and you kind of
Yeah.
forget a little bit that it's
And
almost
then you
100
step
degrees.
outside and it's like, goodness.
Yes, but we'll get through it. It's better than the cold.
Mm-mm.
You don't think so?
I always prefer to be cold over being hot. Here's why.
Okay.
You can always add more layers. And you can, but there's
That's
only
true.
I mean, like, you can be walking around like naked and you're still gonna be boiling hot.
That's true.
But that's not the truth. If it is freezing, like, you can just pile on layers and you'll be good to go.
Right. Okay. My boys feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they love the cold, even in the Northeast when
Yeah.
it's like, 10 degrees. They go out without a coat.
Yeah.
And schooled me when they were growing up that you need a germ to get sick.
Ooh, you do. You do.
It's
Going
not
outside when it's just cold. No, that's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
No.
I don't know.
Like, it's like walking around with wet hair that will not get you sick.
Right, you need to have the germ, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to keep your immune system up,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you want to do those things that can be a little risky.
Yeah.
I don't know the science behind it. If
Well-
there's some way that the germ can leak in more
Yeah.
if you're in the cold without a coat or with a wet head. I don't know.
I don't know. We need to get why that started. Of,
I
like,
think,
don't go out without.
maybe someone on our Facebook feed today will be able to
Ooh.
tell us.
Yes.
I don't know, we'll check it out later. But, or someone watching the show can give us a comment about that.
Yes.
But yeah, so what else has been going on? Have you been to any movies?
No, not any movies. What did I watch? I feel like I watched something. We talked about Godzilla.
Right.
I think that was the last thing I watched. I'm going to go see Spider-Man when that comes out. But that
Oh.
doesn't come out, I don't think, until next week. I think July 2nd.
I have not been watching what's coming out when.
Yeah.
But,
Ooh, what I have been watching, here's what I've been watching. On Netflix, there's a show called Tales of the City.
oh.
And it's about this house, I think in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, it's like an unofficial, like, queer living space.
Okay.
Where this older trans woman has like opened her house up, and she's like a landlady.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just like all the tenants live there.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so where we're at in the story right now, the drama part of it
Uh-huh.
is that she is being blackmailed to sign over the lease to somebody.
Oh,
And
goodness.
so we're like finding out who that is and going through like their drama with their
Right.
lives and stuff.
Oh,
So
that
yeah.
sounds interesting. So, on your scale of 1 to 10, with 10
Mhm.
being a must-see, where would you rate this one?
Let me see. I'm on episode, I think 3 right now.
Uh-huh.
I'll give it a 7, 8.
Okay, 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
Topher Kogen, 7.5.
Yeah. Now,
Alright.
if you like those type of Netflix shows where it's like an ensemble cast,
Uh-huh.
watch Sense8. That came out a while ago.
Okay.
I get that definite 10.
Really? Sense 8?
Yes, Sense8.
Sense, like S-E-N. With your
S-
southern accent, sometimes I'm
sorry.
not sure if it's sense or sense.
Or wait a minute. Sense is like since I've been gone.
Right.
Sense is Sixth Sense.
Right, okay.
Okay, sorry. Sense.
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 So what's the whole name of it?
Sense8.
Sense 8.
I'll go to
check it out.
grammar school. So.
No, you're
Not
fine.
confuse you.
It's an accent thing. You know, when I am I'm conscious of the Boston accent and
Yeah,
pull
when it
back
comes
on
out.
it,
Mhm.
but it comes out sometimes. You've heard it.
Oh.
Where's my bra? You know, we add the R where it doesn't belong, and then we take it away
Yes.
where it belongs.
Pack the car and
Pack the car. Yeah.
I love
Where
it.
is my car? I got in the car today, and there was not any gas in it. I don't know why.
Today?
Today. And that's when I'll rave in my Boston accent.
Yes. Where's my gas?
I swear there was gas in it.
Oh my
when I
gosh,
packed it.
we never talked about this. When we were in New England, we were leaving,
Uh-huh.
they had like a full service gas station. I had never been to one before. I was like, what is happening? Why is this man
Someone actually pumped the gas for us.
Yes.
You don't see that in Arkansas.
I was like, what kind of stuff is this? That's very uppity.
Is it? I don't know.
It's everywhere in Maine.
Everywhere in
Okay.
Maine.
Or Boston.
So Adrian, it's a Northeast thing, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Cape Cod, they got one gas station there. It's weird.
Oh, okay.
When I was growing up,
Yeah.
someone pumped your gas, cleaned the windshield, and you
Uh-huh.
gave them a tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an actual job that people took pride in, you know,
Huh.
and made sure your car was, clean and
Yeah.
gassed up. and-
Well, I knew that because I never like wash my like windshield.
I don't wash
And
my
it
car.
always gets terrible.
My car is filled with stuff
Mhm.
from who knows what, something that happened
Same.
last year.
Yes, just
And then I go and look for stuff, and Angela will say to me, "Why don't you look in your car?"
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
you-
I get all indignant. It wouldn't be in my car, but it probably is.
Yeah, but it kind of comes in handy. So like sometimes I'll have like different like changes of clothes in
Yes,
the car.
right.
And if something happens, I'm like, oh great, I can go and change real
Mhm.
quick. So,
Yes.
oh my goodness. So this is funny, I guess. Maybe it's not funny, but one show I had at Black Apple Crossing, I was wearing these pants, right? And I called myself that I had put a patch in them.
Uh-huh.
I go into the venue, say hey to everybody. I go to sit down, and I'm like, what's this cool thing on my thigh? The patch had come out. I hadn't like done it, I guess,
You didn't finish.
right or whatever.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, I can't go on stage like this. So I like ran out and I was like, I have pants in my car.
See? It comes in handy.
There we go.
I could live out of my car. There's, things to drink,
There's
some
a-
snacks. Some,
There's a
you
crate
know.
of water in my car right now.
Yeah.
Like I could go for several days. I think there's granola somewhere too.
Probably. Or Cliff Bars. Maybe.
Well,
oh no,
yes.
maybe. I saw that face. You're like, I didn't get my Cliff Bars.
I didn't. And I was
We're
really
so
bummed out.
it's so nice that they donate to Bulldozer Health for
Yeah.
the events, and we had a few left over, and for some reason you didn't get
Yeah, I
it.
think because I left early, and I was
Maybe.
like, I gotta go, guys. But that's okay. I'll have Cliff Bars another time.
You
But the
will.
ones I had were very delicious.
They are delicious. They are. They're good to have on hand if you're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So have you been drinking enough water in this heat?
Yes, I have. So, oh my goodness, I don't know if I should say this or not. So I feel like we're very open and honest with
Yeah, we are.
our health
Sure.
journeys.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a scare. I had to go to the doctor this morning.
The doctor.
Yes, the doctor this morning. And okay, I don't know what it is. So I don't know if I've been talking to you about this, but I've been eating a lot of almonds lately.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Like
All
and-
different flavored ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know almonds. They can lead to possible kidney stones because of all the calcium
No,
buildup.
I did not know that either.
Yes. And so because I'm trying to, like cut back on what I'm eating, I'm like eating an over amount of stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is healthy. So I mean like so many almonds. lately.
Yeah.
And so I had like a little pain. I'm not gonna go into big detail.
Right.
But I went to go, just check it out, see
Mhm.
what, and so we're gonna get test back on that stuff. But Topher could have kidney stones.
Oh no. Oh goodness.
So I'm a little worried, but
But-
I looked up all this stuff,
Mhm.
like herbal roots and stuff on like shrinking it and
Yeah.
stuff. Because I don't think really like medical, you can't do anything but just pass it anyway.
Mostly it's just passive, but
Yeah.
there's lots of different natural remedies to help break that up.
Apple cider.
I was thinking that, Adrian, apple cider vinegar.
Mm-hmm. I
You
heard
could
lemon
start-
juice.
You can start on that
Yeah.
now.
I ate a whole lemon after I got the diagnosis. I was like, I'm just eating this lemon.
Yes,
Let's
yeah.
do this.
Well, your body knows what it needs to, what you're drawn to, so maybe you were drawn to the lemon, I don't know. Or you had already looked it up, I guess.
Yeah, I looked it
Yeah,
up.
okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
what can get this out of me?
Apple cider vinegar for sure. I can't remember some other things. I had a partner at one time that actually used all natural things for her kidney stones, and it broke it up. I mean, she was, because it can be quite painful.
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody on one video had said, "Oh, this will feel like childbirth for you."
Yes.
And I'm like, what?
Yes. You don't want to experience that, trust me.
don't.
Women say they forget that pain.
Have you
I think
forgotten?
they're lying. No.
Because you had 2 kids.
Well, I gave birth to
Oh,
one.
yeah, one.
And I still remember the pain.
Mhm.
So, which is okay. I'm so happy that he's on the planet,
The-
and that was all right. But
The most important cure, less almonds.
well,
I
yeah.
know.
So just because something's healthy doesn't mean we can eat as much as we want. of
Yes,
it.
too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
They're hard to
and,
stop.
and there's a lot of fat too in there. I mean, it's good for you. They're good for you, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but I gotta cut it back.
cut it back a little bit.
I was treating them like potato chips.
They are delicious. I love almonds too. But yeah, cut them back. Cut them back. Maybe even cut them out right now.
Yeah, definitely cut them out now.
So we are going to get ready for our health segment coming up next. And I think it's time to move into the studio. So the set's still not quite ready.
No, but we have an actual table today.
We do, and we're getting there.
Yes.
So stay tuned for the health segment.
The strange radio. Turn up, turn up, turn up. The strange radio. Turn up, turn up, turn up. The strange radio.
Robert Taylor is a healing facilitator who uses numerous energy medicine modalities to help the body heal. Robert served in Desert Storm, and he is the owner and proprietor of Tranquility Full Spectrum Health in Lowell, Arkansas. Welcome to the show, Robert.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. But I had the pleasure of visiting your facility. It's so relaxing. I loved it.
Thank you.
From the salt lamps to the lighting, everything about it was lovely. But I'd like to talk a little bit about the energy work that you do.
Okay.
So I know the first thing that you did with me was something called the Ewan method.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that exactly?
The Ewan method, basically, you scan the person's body. Either you can look at them or just imagine a hologram of the person, and you look at and you find energy weaknesses in the body where the energy is flowing but not flowing as good as it should be, and you delete those, and there's a process you go through to do it. I simplified it where basically I just I can either just flick my fingers like that, or I just blink when I find a weakness, and that deletes the weakness so that the energy can flow the way it should normally flow.
Right, and I know when I came to see you, you said there were many blocks
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you kind of corrected, and I immediately felt a difference. You know, I kind of go in with an open heart and mind, but then I'm also looking at it a little bit skeptically too, you know.
I understand.
But my sinuses opened up, Topher, like seriously. My sinuses opened up and my whole body felt different. So it was pretty amazing, really. And so this Ewan method is an ancient energy treatment, isn't it?
Actually, it's pretty new.
Oh, is
Dr.
it?
Cam Ewan, he's a Shaolin Kung Fu Grandmaster,
Uh-huh.
and he actually developed it, I think, about 30 years ago or so.
Okay. I was thinking it was older than that. I don't know why.
Yeah, probably the principle behind it
Okay.
is probably thousands of years old, but this is something he invented, I think, about 30 years ago.
Right. And so let's back up just a little bit about you and your story, because you're a veteran.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have had some different pain syndromes that you've suffered with.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that what brought you to doing the energy work?
Yes, ma'am. It was my last hope.
Oh, wow.
I was on very strong narcotics for pain, and still cry myself to sleep a lot of times at night because I hurt so bad. I contemplated suicide. And now I found a martial arts magazine that a friend of mine had given me like 10 years prior. And I was looking through it and read about this technique and didn't really think it'd work, but it was one of those things you're grasping at straws. Is like, this is my last hope.
Right.
So
you had tried the mainstream medicine route.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
pain medicine and any surgeries or
No, ma'am.
no. Okay. And so as a last hope, you started this, and it worked for you, I'm guessing.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And
Very
it's so
well.
great that you then wanted to share it with other people, you know. So you use other techniques too, though, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. What else are you using when you're helping people?
I use quantum touch, matrix energetics, some other techniques that came to me intuitively, things I picked up in different books, and things like that.
Right.
Just a little bit of everything.
I love the sound of quantum touch. What does that involve?
Basically, it's using the energy that's in everything. You use it, or you kind of spiral it up your body along
Yeah.
with breathing exercises, so it increases a lot.
Mhm.
And then you can either do it touch, where you sandwich that area that is hurting, or you can just imagine the energy going to where it should be. You can just look at that area, or it works. All this works at a distance too. You don't even have to see the person or a picture or any of that.
Yeah, because Wendy was talking about that, something happened over the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and you shifted something,
Yes.
and that was good.
Yeah, I went for the treatment and I saw some immediate relief, but the problem I'm having right now with my shoulder joint, I think it's complex and involves some emotional stuff too. And so it's stubborn like me, right? It keeps coming back. And it's amazing. I mean, I text Robert and he just does his work and it goes away again, right? So I think in time it'll go away
Okay.
completely. But so there is definitely an intuitive part of this, right?
Yes.
And I'm wondering, as a veteran, and probably, I don't know, usually people when they're in the service they're a little more regimented, and it's curious to me that you ended up on this path. Was it was it for you too?
Yes, very much so, because I'm very much a skeptic also, just like you said you were. And but when you try the medical route and it doesn't work, and there's nothing else that you know of that can try it. I've spent thousands of dollars on lotions, potions, medicines, all these gadgets that are supposed to help everything, with very limited success. So it was either this works or
Right.
I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah, and I'm so glad it worked.
Thank you.
Yes. And so do you still have pain that crops up?
I do sometimes just normal aches and pains, but normally I can alleviate those with energy work.
Wow.
Not as easily as working on someone else, but I can usually do it. Actually, it gets better quicker if I'm working on someone else. Say if I have a headache, I work on someone else, usually my headache goes away pretty quickly, whereas if I'm working on it myself, it takes quite a bit longer sometimes.
Right. Well, the energy kind of comes through you and you're kind of harnessing it. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, I know Topher and I had a conversation. We had another guest on who I think you know, Bonnie O'Boyle.
Oh yeah, she is awesome.
And you want to talk
Yeah,
about
exactly.
that?
So when she came onto the show, so my it was really weird because I was in that time period, my wrist was really discombobulated all over the place, and my knee was just killing me. And then after I just mentioned it to her, I kind of saw her in the corner just kind of still herself for a minute, and then at the end of the show I realized I was my knee feels fine, it feels great. And then so I have a comedian friend, Xavier. He said I think it was his shoulder or something, and he was in the green room talking with her. And then she gave him a hug, and then after the hug, he was my shoulder's fine. What just happened? So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
she is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we can all kind of harness that energy. Energy can't be destroyed or created, right?
Right.
So it's here. And I think if you have, an open mind and heart, you can, I think it'll work either way, but maybe for some people, if they're super skeptical, I wonder if it'll work as well.
It'll work, just a lot of people, they can come in a wheelchair and leave walking fine, and they still won't admit to to feeling any better.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
It's just-
that's what the placebo effect is. It is you literally opening and closing yourself off to those shifting energies. And so if
That's
you
a
like
good
know
thought.
of the placebo, then
Uh-huh.
you're like already like putting up those barriers. And if you don't know,
Right.
then you're just like you're allowing something to just like move an energy around. I don't really know, but
It's an interesting thought because I do think the placebo effect comes into play with many treatments, whether it's energy work or anything. That even when you go to the mainstream doctor,
Oh, yeah.
there are people who just going to the doctor they feel better, right? So right.
Oh, yeah.
So especially older people, I think, or people who are really tied in with mainstream medicine. Well, if I just go and see the doctor, I'll start feeling better, you know. And so that has to be somewhat of a placebo effect.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that in play. Probably also an energy work to a lesser extent than a lot of things, and there's also the nocebo effect in
Right.
play.
And what is the nocebo effect?
It's where you think, or the way I understand is if you think something won't work, then,
Yeah.
you know,
It
if it works for 99 of 100 people, if you think that won't work, it won't really
Right.
work very well for you.
I wish that happened with everything, like alcohol. I was like, this will not get me drunk. And you're fine all night.
I mean, some people believe you can do that.
Should I
Mind
test
is
that?
so powerful.
It is.
I'm gonna test that on Dixie.
As long as you're not driving, I'm cool with you testing.
No, I'll just Uber it. I'll Uber it.
All right.
Well, no, so I'll take my car there and I'll try to convince myself. And if I feel it, then I'll be like, I'll ask a second opinion.
All right,
before I
there you
go.
go.
There we go.
There you go.
Don't drink and drive.
I think there's something to that. So when I started on my health journey, which I'm still on, I'd say I changed my mind. I changed my mind to the positive. I decided that I could be healthier. And that decision, I have to remind myself sometimes, you know, okay, I wake up and I'll say out loud, I'm healthy, I'm well, time to start the day. Many days I do that, and there is something to that. You know, you're living into what you want to be,
Absolutely.
right? So when patients come to see you, they can expect to have a dialogue with you, and then you use a table for them to lie on.
Yes,
Yeah.
I use a massage table, and I can do it either non-touch or some non-touch with touch if needed. I always ask their permission first before I lay hands on them. Or some people really want someone to touch them.
That's
I mean,
true, yeah.
even though it's not required for the work that I do, I will do it. If they want me to just lay hands on them where they're hurting, I'll do that.
Right.
But
It
it's
is
just
true.
up to them.
Some people want that touch, they want the warmth that comes from the hands, which is easier to feel if you're on there. Although I can feel it even when they're not on the body, you know. And so do you have a success story that you'd like to share?
Probably mine is the biggest one
Yeah.
that I know. I mean, as far as people that I've had experience with. You know, I was on those narcotics for pain and antidepressants and a lot of other things. And the first day of the first class I took, the UN method class, I stopped taking all my meds that day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Did you go into withdrawal?
Mm-mm.
Really?
I tried stopping one or the other before that
Uh-huh.
and did. And it was like, oh yeah, I can't do this.
Right.
But no, that day I stopped taking everything.
Wow. Well, it seems like it worked for you.
It's
Yeah,
been-
it's not something we can recommend to
No,
to
no,
people,
definitely
you know. But it's kind of a decision that you made at that time. And so, what was your diagnosis? If you don't mind?
Fibromyalgia.
Mhm.
I had bleeding ulcers, and of course depression,
Right.
like most people have with pain syndromes.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, it's hard to know what came first with that. The pain and the depression, it's kind of mixed in together, and some anxiety usually too.
Yep.
But yeah, well, that's an amazing story because you're sitting here and you look great, and it sounds like you're just having normal aches and pains that anybody would have.
Yes.
So at your spa, are there other things that you offer?
That's the only thing I offer. We have the Himalayan salt room that some friends of mine that are in the same building, they have that. We have a wonderful massage therapist. We've got 2 more energy medicine practitioners.
Nice. Yeah, it's good that people can get kind of a smattering of different
Oh, yeah.
modalities to heal them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And where can people get in touch with you?
I have a website, tfshealth.net, or on Facebook, Tranquility Full Spectrum Health.
Excellent. And you do distance healing too, so
Yes, ma'am.
with listeners and viewers all over the country. And so people could get in touch with you if they want to do some distance work.
Yes,
as well.
ma'am.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all.
And now for our musical segment, we have William Pierce featuring Austin Wilkins. And they'll be playing some original tunes ranging from Heartland indie rock to Americana, and they are based in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Think I'm alone now that I'm without you. Not lost, not found, no, just alone. It's false and true. The world seems smaller and quieter out there. But that's okay. 'Cause baby, I got the sun to shine my way. Wind sways the trees, the ground remains beneath my feet. I've always got me to count on, and really that's all I need. So come on, let's hit the floor and let the light shine on through. 'Cause now we know that we've got nothing left to lose. Come on, baby, hold me close, hold me tight. In this lovely, lonely town where we feel just fine, just fine. Mm. Reflections ripple off of the water to show me that life never leaves the edge of the stream. As if we're just two ships passing in a dream. To me, for the briefest of moments, let love be. It's not as sad as one may think. Beauty lies in moments and moments become memories. So come on, let's hit the floor and let the light shine on through. 'Cause now we know that we've got nothing left to lose. Come on, baby, hold me close and hold me tight. In this lovely, lonely town where
Yeah, yeah, and I love the upright bass too.
Oh, it's a beautiful instrument. I love
It
it so
is,
much.
yeah. My eldest son actually plays that as well.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So what are you gonna play for us next?
Next is a song called Hard Nights, and it's a little bit different from the first one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Maybe a little more groovy.
A little more
Okay.
groovy. I thought that was pretty groovy though, so we'll see. All right,
Very
thank
cool.
you.
Yep. I know it's hard to see, as strange as it may seem, you're a stranger to me. I thought that I knew you, I thought that I knew what was right in front of me. How can this be? Cold hands of reality split me into two. That's me without you. And though the night is long, and though you can't go on, don't go into the dark. Don't go into the dark. Little memory, a photo of just us three. It was beautiful. Now burn it down. Yeah, burn it to the ground. I don't wanna feel this anymore. Take a breath. Make sure you read the rest. There was a song, and though the night is long, and though you can't go on, don't go into the dark. Don't go into the dark. 'Cause you might find something you thought you left behind. And though the night is long, though you can't go on, don't go into the dark. Don't go into the dark. Don't go into the dark. Don't go into the dark.
Yeah, I would say that was a little more groovy for sure.
Okay, cool, right on.
Yeah. So what was your motivation for that song?
A lot of this new album I'm writing about is kind of based on how would you phrase it?
Emotional tragedy.
Emotional
Oh,
tragedy.
goodness.
Yeah. The stages of grief.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
feel that don't go like into the dark, don't like
Yeah.
succumb to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't
Yeah.
succumb to the abyss, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of artists, I think, so the motivation, I see like both sides, it either comes from this dark place or from this really like uplifted, happy place, you know?
Mhm.
Do you feel like you're on both sides or it's?
Definitely on both sides. I try to tackle, the way. That's the one thing I think a lot of people that people have in common is how they handle grief, and a lot of people can handle it by, kind of locking themselves away for months and thinking on it, or by going out and being around people they love.
Right,
And so that's one of the things I like to kind of talk about and bring out.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I really enjoyed that. So where can people find your music?
Right now I'm working on an album.
Nice.
I should have some songs released by August.
Wonderful.
That's my plan.
Finishing
plans
well
go.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And your website
Is William Pierce on Wix.
Uh-huh.
It's called Wix.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
the site name, but it's William, they can Google William Pierce.
Yes.
Yeah, find him on Facebook, Instagram, MySpace.
Excellent,
Awesome,
excellent.
yeah.
Thanks so much for being here, we
Yeah,
really
thank you.
enjoyed
Hey,
it.
it's wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
thank
lovely.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put that in your pipe and smoke it, like it or not. We're gonna have our pie.
And we are in the green zone. Unfortunately, our guest, Skip Eckarts, we can't get him on the phone.
Yes.
My goodness. But I just want to mention, Skip is a 64-year-old disabled Air Force veteran, and he's been a cannabis activist for 40 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's actually spoken at the Capitol, at rallies, concert stages, and then unfortunately he was a casualty of the drug war and was arrested, and now he's out and has been putting his life back together the last couple of years. So hopefully we'll get to interview him on a later show.
Yeah,
but
I'm super excited to talk to him. I'm kind of bummed out today, but yes,
Yeah.
the show will go on,
The
and
show
we'll
will
talk
go
to
on.
him at another day.
So there's lots of stuff to talk about. So
There is.
the presidential debates just happened
Yes.
for the Democratic candidates.
Yes, all
For all
12 of them.
500 of them.
Yes, yes.
And no one brought up cannabis.
Not a single thing. They talked about the healthcare system
Mhm.
at nauseum
Yes.
both times.
Yes.
And yeah, and I was waiting for them to kind of like say something about it, and
Mhm.
nothing about it. They brought up opioids,
They did.
but they did not bring up.
Which was
cannabis.
really interesting because I've seen Kamala Harris
Mhm.
and Cory Booker both speak about ending prohibition,
Mhm.
and so I'm not sure. I guess the question was not raised by the interviewers.
It was not.
Right.
Yeah, it was, all the questions were really focused on the coverage of it,
Right.
on how we're going to pay for this Medicare system.
Mhm.
And so,
But that brings up a point because, as we've talked about many times, legalization is kind of a trap, and
yes.
people are left behind. And I would love to see one of the candidates include it in the healthcare system that they're
Mhm.
proposing, because, for instance, here in Arkansas, so many people will not be able to afford the dispensary prices.
Exactly.
People who are very ill. I think many of the candidates talked about the inherent problem and how the system is rigged and how, people aren't making a living wage and all of that. And all of that also impacts cannabis medicine as well.
Mhm.
So,
But I think it's too radical, because they're so focused on where is the money going to come from,
Mhm.
that even mentioning something about, oh, here's this thing that we charge money for it right now, but what if we don't charge money for it?
Right.
Like, nobody wants to have that conversation.
what if it's
in
part of
politics
the
yet.
actual healthcare system as medicine?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, no, not even scheduled as medicine. Scheduled as what it is, as
Mhm.
just a plant,
Right.
as just free to just
Right.
get the plant and have it.
Right. If people could grow it like they grow their tomatoes, which it
Mhm.
grows great with tomatoes, by the way, and other things, then it would be a completely different topic that we're talking about,
Mhm.
right?
And then maybe saving it for once the herd gets narrowed down.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope at least the topic will be raised, right?
Yeah.
I was reading here in Fayetteville a report yesterday, I believe, about the fact that the ordinance that's in place here in Fayetteville isn't really working. The number of arrests have actually increased, especially for LGBT folks and people of color.
Really?
Yes, and so that's another topic that is really important, and I think that's why we need to end prohibition and deschedule the medicine so that it's not criminalized.
Yeah.
Someone like Skip Eckarts, who is a veteran
Mhm.
and was using it as medicine, ends up in prison.
Yeah, which is just so ridiculous. I mean, yeah, every time I think about just the number of people that it's just a thing of, I am taking this to just make my life better.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to just like run around high and cause all these like commotions.
Right.
I'm just doing this for my health because it's a step that I believe will work.
Right.
And they're criminalized for that.
Right. And so many things are criminalized in this country. I know this segment is Green Zone talking
Yeah.
about cannabis, but that's is something that was brought up in the debates, and just about, we have the largest prison population ever
Mm-hmm.
in the world, and something needs to change, and I think by ending prohibition and descheduling and taking the criminal component out of it, then we're looking at a completely different thing, and maybe people will start to look at it as medicine. Even here in Arkansas, where there's so much reefer madness.
Yeah, exactly. And then on like the topics of prisons and stuff, it needs to not be a place of punishment. It needs to be a place of rehabilitation,
right,
and of reintegration.
Right, and it's not the place for people who, the plan, the cannabis plan is one thing, but then people are in prison, for other drugs too. It's really not the place.
No, they can't get treated.
No, and then they leave there not being able to get a job, not being able to get housing. It impacts so many things. So it's a really important topic for sure, and I think that when people stop kind of, I notice here still, if you mention cannabis or the M word, people kind of get that little smile, right? Because they're not thinking about it as medicine still.
No.
So changing the language, changing people's minds is really important.
And which I don't know. I go back and forth on whether that's a good thing or bad thing, or completely positive or completely negative.
Right.
Because like you said, what's that word?
Deschedule? Or
Deschedule, but also
prohibition.
Prohibition, capitalization of it. What's that? Sentiment, what is that? Where it's not just like where
people are making money?
No. Where it's just for like, I feel like some people have an issue with if it's just
for medicine?
It's just medicine.
Oh, right, okay.
And only people who have these certifications for medicine, they're the only people that can have it.
Right.
So I think about those people get like excited when it's like ha ha ha. It's
right.
Like,
Right. Right. Even though it's all medicinal use. If people are using it to relax after work, I feel like it's all medicinal use really. And those words, recreation and medical, kind of confuse the whole issue.
Yeah. Ooh, we should change it from medical to holistic.
Oh, I like that.
Because then it's just like a herb.
Right, which is what it is.
There we go. What? Calling things what they are? That's too simple for America.
Holistic. We don't even need to use the word medicine necessarily. Holistic herbal treatment.
There we go.
I
holistic,
like that.
Well, it's not a root. Is it a flower? Holistic
it's a
flower?
Right. And the leaves, don't get me started on the leaves. So the leaves are so healing, will decrease inflammation. When I was living in a legal state that had grow rights, I would juice them every day, and the inflammation goes down within 20 minutes. If I had swollen joints, within 20 minutes, just drinking the shake of cannabis. And I put other, fruits and vegetables in there too. So, we can look at it also as a food supplement. There's a lot of, discussion about this with the FDA, like where do they put it? Is it a food supplement? Is it a medicine?
Yeah. How about you just leave it alone?
Right. How about they left it alone, back in 1937? That would have been great. Right? Right. And we wouldn't have people with endocannabinoid system deficiency. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or prisoners of the drug war.
I know.
Well, we still have those because of like cocaine. But
right. I don't think anyone should go to prison for any drug. It's really not the place. I mean, it's one thing if they're selling drugs to minor children or something like that. But
just to use it like for yourself.
Yeah, that's really not the place. And so much education is really needed. But I love countries like Portugal, which just decriminalized all drugs, and then you see a totally different scenario than what we have here with our full for-profit prisons, and many of the people are actually in there for cannabis or other drugs. Yeah. Well, this has been a great Green Zone segment.
This has been.
Well, Topher, what a great show it's been, hasn't it?
It has been a really fun show today, and the show would not have been possible without our amazing sponsors.
That's very true. Our sponsors are Family Pets Veterinary Care and Acupuncture,
Lit Smoking Supplies,
CBD American Shaman Kava Bar and Yoga,
and NWA Natural Living.
Please also check out our Patreon account, The Wendy Lovett Show, and he's been Topher.
And she's been Wendy.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.